What's up, Wolfpack fam? It's your boy Kid back at it again. Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Continue my journey of Dad's Army with the boys. What adventures are going to be happening on this week's episode? I got to stay tuned to find out. But ladies and gentlemen, sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Snacks is not included. Damn it, you got to bring your own. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Free to do. Helps out the channel tremendously. And shout out to the Patreons as well. Thank you for your support. Let's get it. Snacks not included. Let's freaking go. Let's get it.
Off to town on the A21, but he comes home each evening and he's ready with his gun. So who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Hitler, if you think old England's done?
Aren't you feeling very well, Uncle Arthur?
Right, I got a slight headache, that's all.
Oh.
Frank, do you really have to make all that noise?
I've got to make up the ledgers, haven't
Yeah,
I?
I know, yes.
You know how fussy Mr. Manring is?
Yes, I know, but couldn't you please do it just a little bit more quietly? Use another nib or something.
It's the only nib I've got. They're very difficult to get, you know. There is a war on.
Yes, all right.
Anyway, if you've got an headache, it's your own fault. By the time we finish supper, it's always so late, you never leave our house until after I've gone to bed. And then you're back early for breakfast in the morning before I'm awake.
Well, you know, Frank, I always come round to your house for meals because your mother has my ration book.
Yeah, well, what I can't understand is I never hear you leave and I never hear you come back in the morning.
Yes, well, you see, I let myself in and out very quietly.
You never do anything else quietly.
Frank, would you please stop? Just stop it, will you? Stop.
Do you know your trouble, Uncle Arthur? You don't get enough sleep. Well, tonight I'm going to make sure you leave our house before I go to bed, even if I have to push you out the door myself. I'm sorry, but it's for your own good.
Morning, Wilson. Pike.
Morning, sir. Morning. Oh, what have you got there, sir?
A new door for my office.
Oh, really? How lovely.
Do you realise, Wilson, it's 3 months now since the bank was bombed, and I don't know how many times I've applied for a new door. Confounded red tape. Get down, Pike. Pike, get down. Get down. Have you got my nameplate?
Yes, Miss Henry, here. There.
Ah, look at this, Wilson. My name in glittering gold letters.
Oh.
Can't wait to put it in its rightful place. On the door of my office.
Yes, well, it is rather a plain door, isn't it?
Oh, that isn't the actual door.
Oh.
The door's inside. They probably put that case on to protect the paneling.
Oh, I see, yes. Oh.
I mean, they wouldn't give me, manager of the bank, a plywood door. Do use your intelligence sometimes, Wilson. Right, take the paper off.
What paper? This is the door.
This is made of paper.
That's right. Tar paper, to be exact. Standard government issue to replace doors in bombed offices.
I can't screw my nameplate onto a paper door.
You could stick it on.
Boy, be quiet. Get back to the counter. This is monstrous. I shall complain to head office.
Oh, don't go on at me like that, mate. Now, do you want us to put this thing up or not?
Oh, very well, yes. Get on with it.
Right.
How can I interview important clients in an office with a paper door?
Well, they use paper doors in Japan.
What's that got to do with it?
I've really no idea.
Now, how can anybody knock on it?
Well, you could put up a little notice saying, don't knock, cough.
I'm not having people coughing and spluttering outside my door. Just a minute. Got holes in it. What are these holes?
Oh, don't worry about that. I'll fix that. Got any stamp paper?
Oh, yes, sure, hang on. Yeah.
Tar.
There you go.
Good as new, eh?
Perfect.
Can't have white spots all over the door.
You're a fussy little fella, aren't you? That's it.
Come in the office, Wilson.
All right, sir.
I must speak to those cleaning ladies.
Yes.
Stanley, the Colonel's outside like a word with you.
Tell him I shan't be a minute.
Yes, sir.
And while we're on the subject of tidiness, it's about time you had a haircut.
Well, I'm terribly sorry, sir, but I'm afraid I never seem to be able to get around to it.
I know you think you look like Anthony Eden. You have to be my chief clerk and my sergeant.
Good heavens, look.
Oh, morning, Mannering.
You set fire to my door.
Oh, dear.
Excuse me, just a minute. Make way.
Well done, Frank.
Oh, that was very quick thinking, young man.
Thank you, sir.
What about the hole in my door?
Stick a bit of paper over it.
Can I get a stamp book?
Get out, boy. Come and sit down, Colonel.
Sorry to barge in like this, but I've got some bad news. It's about Godfrey.
About Godfrey? Oh, dear. Hope you're not going to say that he can't stay with the platoon. I know Godfrey's getting on, but he's very useful to us. And he's become a sort of father figure for the younger ones to lean on.
Yeah, as long as they don't lean on him too heavily.
I mean emotionally. You know, when the bullets start flying, you won't find Godfrey throwing himself into a funk hole.
Certainly not quickly. No, I mean, not with his rheumatics.
Now, don't worry, it's nothing to do with his being in the Home Guard. He lives at Cherry Tree Cottage, doesn't he?
That's right, yes.
Yes, of course, yes. A lovely old place, yes. A cottage with a thatched roof, a white fence, and hollyhocks and roses growing in the garden. You know, it really does look like a picture of a chocolate box. You know, whenever I pass by there, I have to stop and I say to myself, well, that's it, I suppose, but that's what we're fighting for.
I couldn't have put it better myself, Wilson.
Well, it is what we're fighting for. But it's got to come down.
What?
Come down.
Yes, a new aerodrome's being built, and Godfrey's cottage is right in the middle of it.
Well, can nothing be done about it?
No, I'm afraid not. It's vital for the war effort. He'll get compensation, of course. But I thought it better that you told him yourself, so that he won't get such a shock when he gets the official notice. Well, I won't take up any more of your time. Cheerio.
Rise up. Yes, sir.
Not good, boys.
What are we going to do about Godfrey?
Yeah, poor old thing, yes. Yes, he's been living in that cottage with his two sisters for donkey's years.
I know. I can't possibly tell him. Look, we'd better get Fraser and Jones over here, I think. Pike! Pike!
Come in. I can't get in. Hang on, had an idea.
How dare you put your arm through my door?
Sorry, but the handle had come off.
You've torn it.
Well, it's not my fault if they give a rotten door with the handles that come off, is it?
Don't use that tone of voice to me, boy.
You
Now,
broke
run
it.
across the road, get hold of Mr. Jones, Mr. Fraser, and get them over here at the double.
Yes, sir.
Right.
He kills me, man.
Look at that door. It's only been up a few minutes. It's already in ruins.
Mr. Henry.
Yes?
Mr. Jones is in the bank. He's paying in his takings.
Very well. Ask him to come in and then go and get Mr. Fraser.
Yes, sir.
Wish we could do something for Godfrey. I feel very deeply about this, you know, Wilson, very deep.
Why don't you lend him some money so he could possibly buy another cottage?
Well, I don't want my personal feelings to get mixed up with my position in the bank.
Stanley, do you want to see me?
Yes, please. Jones, just a minute. Just a moment. I'll help you in.
Yep.
Oh. Rubbish, the handle's come off.
Oh, never mind, so put my shoulder to it.
Oh, no, don't do that. It's only made of paper.
Oh, man.
Wilson, in a nutshell. Godfrey's cottage has to come down, and the Colonel has asked me to tell him.
At his age, the shock could very easily kill him. And you'll be responsible. You said, Mr. Mannering, you will be responsible.
Yes, all right, Fraser.
Then why don't we move Mr. Godfrey's cottage?
Move it?
Yeah, we could take it to bits and put it up somewhere else. It'd be all right. Just have to number all the bricks and tiles.
The roof's covered with thatch. He couldn't number that.
Well, we could cut it up into slices and roll it up. Couldn't do it on a windy day, of course.
No, I think you're getting into the realms of fantasy again here, Jones.
No, he's not, Mr. Mannering, no.
What?
In that film, Ghost Goes West, Robert Donat and Jean Arthur. Well, there was this American millionaire, you see, and he took a whole castle all the way from Scotland to California.
See who that is, please, Wilson.
Right.
I saw that film. Rubbish. Their kilts hung too far below their Sassenach knees.
Yes, Martin's back, yes. What? Oh, Raymond, yes. Just a minute. Excuse me. Jonesy, your boy Raymond says, would you please hurry up, as the offer queue is getting rather impatient.
Well, tell him I shan't be long.
All right. He says he won't be very long.
Look,
all right.
please, could we get on, Jones, Fraser?
All right. I'll tell him. Goodbye. Excuse me, sir. Jonesy, your boy Raymond says that Fraser's boy Heathcliff has told him to move the offer queue away from the front of Fraser's shop.
Is this true, Mr. Fraser?
Aye. I told them to get them shifted.
How dare you interfere with my awful queue?
There's no right. No right at all to queue up in front of my shop. I don't want a lot of old women gawping into my window, arguing about their points.
Now, look here. My awful queue doesn't want to look in your rotten window. You've only got an old iron urn and a bit of old velvet in it.
My window's better than yours. All it's got in it is a couple of plaster pigs with comic expressions on their faces.
My fault I can't get any meat.
Look, please, I know we're all very busy, but will you just give me 2 minutes of your attention? Now, the Colonel has asked me to tell Godfrey, and I think, that is that we think, Sam Wilson and I, that perhaps you, Jones, or you, Fraser, might be better telling him. After all, I mean, you are his contemporaries.
You mean you're trying to wriggle out of it?
That's not fair. I'd have you know that Captain Mannering is not only a bank manager, he's also our commanding officer and a gentleman. And furthermore, just a minute, and plaster pigs have not got comic expressions on their faces. They've got happy laughing faces.
Please,
Be
quiet.
Oh, man, them bickering.
It's no good, Wilson. You and I are just going to have to go up to Godfrey's cottage tomorrow afternoon and tell him straight. Right. You'd better come with us, Pike.
Yes, sir.
We must grasp the nettle.
Mr. Mannering, Mr. Godfrey's garden hasn't got any nettles. He's very proud of it.
Line all the way, leading from the rose and crown, from Trafalgar Square.
Now, I don't know how to do this, Wilson. We must pick exactly the right time to tell Godfrey.
Well, how will he know when the right time is?
You know, in that film, Dangerous Moonlight, Anton Walbrook had to tell his girlfriend he was leaving Poland forever. So he played the piano to her to keep her mind off it.
Yeah.
Uncle Arthur could do that. He plays the piano ever so well.
Like a film saying it. Oh, boy.
What lovely flowers.
Mr. Mannering, Mr. Wilson, Frank.
Hello, Mr. Godfrey. Mr. Mannering's got something to tell you.
Godfrey, we're just passing. Thought we'd drop in and say hello.
How awfully nice of you. You were just in time to join us at tea. Dolly, Sissy, look who's come to tea.
Isn't that nice, Sissy? It's Mr. Mannering and his friends. Ooh. Yes, get some more chairs,
Oh,
darling.
yes, more
chairs.
What were you going to
Bless
tell me,
him.
Mr. Mannering?
Oh, I was just going to say I've never seen such lovely roses in my life.
They are lovely, aren't they? You know, this rose bush was planted by my father over 50 years ago.
Really?
Tell him quickly, and then we'll go.
Mr. T. Look at that. Perfect picture, isn't it? You know, I often say to my sisters, it doesn't matter what Hitler does, this cottage with its garden and the lovely roses will always be here. It's what we're fighting for, isn't it? Come along.
Mammy, going to tell him now or during tea?
During tea.
Let's get some tea.
Will you sit here, Mr. Wilson?
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, how pretty the table looks.
Mr. Manring, shall I sit next to Mr. Godfrey in case he faints when you tell him?
Fine, boy.
A milk, everybody?
I do hope you like this tea. It's made from water from our well, you know. That's what gives it a special taste. Tuck in, Frank.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Godfrey.
Bread and butter, Mr. Mallory?
No, thank you, I'm not hungry.
Oh, you must have one of my upside-down cakes, Mr. Manning.
Oh, very well. Thank you.
You know, this bread and raspberry jam looks absolutely delicious.
I bake the bread in our old brick oven. That's what gives it that lovely, crusty taste. And I make the jam from our own raspberries.
You know, we're almost self-sufficient here. This cottage and garden give us everything we need.
Mr. Manring, during tea, you going to tell him now?
After tea.
Jesus, Mike. Oh, man, what a lovely day.
You know, it's awfully nice the way the sun brings out the colour on that wall.
Yes, the whole place has a sense of permanence. My sisters and I often say this cottage stands for England.
Mr. Manring, it's after tea. You can't wait much longer. You've got to tell him now.
You're right, Pike. The point is, Godfrey, that Wilson has something to say to you.
I can't.
Get on with it. It's an order.
Under the bus.
Yes, Mr. Wilson?
Well, do you think I could have another upside-down cake? Thank you so much.
You know your trouble, Wilson. You've got no guts.
It wasn't my fault, sir.
I mean, it would be perfectly simple for you. And all you could say was, I want another upside-down cake.
I wanted another upside-down cake.
You can just tell.
Good boy.
Let him live.
Mr. Manning was very complimentary to me, you know. He asked my advice. She went round to Mr. Godfrey's cottage on Saturday afternoon to tell him, but because Mr. Godfrey's two sisters are there, he thought the shock would be too much for him. Well, I agreed with him, of course. I said Godfrey should be completely alone when we tell him.
We?
Pardon?
When we tell him.
Yes, yes. He was very grateful, of course, for my advice, and he said he'd give us a couple of minutes alone, and then he'd send out Mr. Godfrey with the tea.
Man, oh, man. Have you not got the sense to see that Mannering has left you and me holding the baby?
No, that's not fair. It's because you and I are the most senior members of the platoon. He said it would be more tasty for us to tell him. Yeah, you will back me up, won't you?
Ah, all right. I'll manoeuvre the conversation round it for you.
That's right, you do that. Oh, hello, Mr. Godfrey. And what brings you out here?
Mr. Manning thought you might like a nice hot cup of tea, so I brought one out personally.
Oh, that's very nice. Well, we'll put it down on the seat, please. Now, listen, we've got to get this over and done with quickly. So start manoeuvring the conversation round.
Godfrey, son, Jones here's got some bad news for you. Well, how's that, eh? Well, my turn to patrol down to the end of the promenade.
Yeah, don't leave me, Jock.
Sure, why not, man, oh man? The war comes first.
Don't you want a cup of tea?
No, I'll drink it when I get back. Well, cheerio then, lads, cheerio.
Wow.
What's the bad news, Mr. Jones?
What? Oh, well, we'll talk about that later. Let's sit down and have a nice cup of tea, shall we? Yes. That's right. You. Oh, well, the cup that cheers, eh? Now, look here, Godfrey. In times like these, We are fighting for our lives, for our very existence even. And we have to make sacrifices. I mean, even Mr. Mainwaring, he has to make sacrifices. And what a fine man he is. I'd put my right hand in the fire for him any time. When I say in the fire, I don't mean in the real fire, you know. I mean, it wouldn't help Mr. Mainwaring if I went round putting my hand in people's real fires, you know, would it? No. No, I mean, I'm talking metaphorically, see? What was I talking about? I lost the thread.
About the sacrifice Mr. Mainwaring's making.
Yes, and so he is. He's got a paper door. Imagine a man of Mr. Mainwaring's status sitting in an office with a paper door. And what's worse, I tore it. Well, it's the same with houses. You know, if a man was to come down from high government circles to me and say, you know, in a nonchalant manner, and then say to me, I've got to knock your house down for the war effort, I'd have to let him do it.
Oh, dear. I'm so sorry. So they're going to knock yours down as well?
No, they're not going to knock mine down. What do you mean, as well?
As well as my place.
You know, then?
Oh, yes, we had official information yesterday. I meant to speak to Mr. Mainwaring about it. I didn't want to upset him.
Whoa!
What are you going to do?
Oh, it's all right. We shall manage. Dolly and Sissy will stay with friends. We'll put our furniture in store.
Yeah, but where will you go?
Oh, I'll find a room somewhere.
You'll do no such thing. You'll come and stay with me.
Oh, no. I couldn't do that.
Of course you could. I'll be glad of your company. We'll get on wonderfully well. Wonderfully well. And after parade, we'll go home and we can have a nice glass of stout each.
I don't care for stout.
Don't you? Well, you could have something else to drink, couldn't you? Anyway, we could have cheese on toast.
Toasted cheese always gives me shocking indigestion.
Well, we could listen to the wireless. You do like listening to the wireless, don't you?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes.
Yeah, well, we could listen to the Forces programme, have a good laugh. I like the Forces programme.
I always listen to the whole service.
Well, we could listen to that. We'll be all right, you see.
T R U. Hello, operator. I want a trunk call to London, if you please. London. Hello. Is that Sir Charles?
Yes.
Sir Charles Renfrew McAllister?
Speaking.
My name's Fraser. James Fraser.
What the hell do you think you're doing ringing me up in the middle of the night?
It's quiet and peaceful. And it's cheaper.
What do you want?
Tell me, are you the minister in charge of building this new aerodrome at Warmington-on-Sea?
Oh, now look. If you're after a building contract, there's nothing doing.
Oh, no, it's not that.
Well, what do you want then?
I just wanted to shift the aerodrome a wee bit.
Are you out of your mind?
Sir Charles, I was reading in the papers the other day about your recent knighthood, and it went on to say that you come from a very fine old Scottish family that can trace their origins way back to Robert the Bruce.
You haven't woken me up to discuss my ancestors.
No, I've woken me up to ask you this. Could you possibly be the laddie with the same name whose father kept a fish and chip shop in that grand old Isle of Barra?
Who was expelled from school for cheating? Who got that bonny wee thing, Maisie Macintosh, into trouble?
And who got the sack from the draper's shop for getting his fingers caught in the till? That wouldn't be you, would it?
Certainly not.
Oh, that's all right then. In that case, you won't mind me giving the whole story to a certain society magazine, will ye? Good. It just so happens I have got their phone number right here in front of me.
Charlie boy.
Oh, shit.
Look at poor old Mr. Godfrey and his sisters. I don't half feel sorry for him.
The war can be very cruel, you know, Pikey.
Facts.
Now, sir, we've nearly finished the loading.
Thank you, Wilson. This is a sad day. I wrote a letter to the minister in charge of building the airfield, pointing out all the facts, and I never even got a reply. We're all in the hands of petty bureaucrats, Wilson. Faceless men.
Here, don't load any more on my van. You'll break the back axle.
Mr. Memory told me to put it in.
And I'm telling you to take it out. You stupid, soppy-looking boy.
Don't you call me a stupid, soppy-looking boy.
I'm going to have a word with Mannering about you. Napoleon, my van won't take any more, and I want my money now.
The arrangement was that you would be paid £2 out of platoon funds when the job was finished.
I want my £2 now.
Shoot him, Mr. Mannering.
You're entitled to.
Shoot him. I'm tired of this shit.
Hold on, Mr. Mannering, hold on.
What is it, Fraser?
This is Mr. Blackwell from the town hall. They're going to move the aerodrome.
Then poor old Mr. Godfrey won't have to leave his home after all.
This is good news.
Yeah, and I'll be able to listen to the Forces programme. I'm going to tell Mr. Godfrey.
They're going to move the whole aerodrome 200 yards further north.
Ah, so Godfrey's cottage won't be in the middle.
No, just on the edge.
Right. Unload the van, men.
Here, just a minute. What about my £2?
The arrangement was that you'd be paid when the job was done, and the job has not been done.
You chiseler. I want my £2.
You mind not raising your voice?
I want my money.
Come away, Wilson.
Wow.
It's nice, isn't it, sir? A bit different to the last time we had tea with you, Godfrey. Do you remember? Mr. Mannering was wondering how to break the news to you.
Yes, indeed. It must have been my letter to the minister that did it, of course.
No doubt about it, Mr. Mannering, no doubt at all.
What was his name?
Sir Charles Renfrew McAllister. Fine man. They say he could trace his ancestors back to Robert the Bruce.
We're really very grateful to you, Mr. Mannering. If it hadn't been for you, our peaceful little world would have come to an end.
Look at Jones, dude. Spoke too soon. Frazier coming through on the clutch right there. Really, real quick, before I do switch screens, I really enjoy the peaceful shot, almost majestic here, of them just sitting down, drinking some tea with some snacks, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful sight there. That's almost a Kodak moment. It's something I would like to do. And again, I don't drink tea like that, once in a blue moon, but I think I would love a scene to just chill out there, just enjoy just the sights there, and just chill out with some good company. So I enjoyed this episode. We're going to talk about it. Thank you for hanging out. Appreciate you all. Ladies and gentlemen, a very, very enjoyable episode. You have two important scenes or developments with the door. And you got, Godfrey's, I said Joffrey. I don't know. I think about coffee right now. Godfrey's cottage, man. So I definitely was really enjoying this episode. We could be bugging. Maybe I'm drunk. Maybe there's a little liquor in this drink that I'm drinking right now, but I could have swore the sisters looked a little different, or maybe we just tripping, or maybe it's been a while since we seen the sisters anyway. But regardless, when there's a war going on, and you have to do some changes as far as like, moving people out of their their home. Remember that beautiful story Godfrey's talking about, the roses and the garden, 50 years, et cetera, et cetera. He's been here with his, lovely sisters, Sissy and Dolly, for quite some time. So this has very much cherished memories, good time, et cetera, et cetera. This is your home, man. So when you're on the receiving end of something like that, where you're gonna be compensated, rightfully, but it's never a good feeling. You're moving a lot of stuff like that. So that was tough. Godfrey's the most one of the most bravest man, always going to the bathroom, having to go to the bathroom, but at the same time, and he's always a step behind a little bit. But man, he's one of the most innocent characters that we got here. We love that character to pieces. He's such a funny character, but you're almost like, oh, like a lot of times with this guy, man, you just can't help it. I guess the softer side of myself, comes out seeing Godfrey's character. So, obviously, without good character development, I would not be feeling any of these things. And, without the good writing, et cetera, et cetera. But, when it comes to Godfrey's, I get, I guess, a softer side, you know what I mean? It don't come out a lot, ladies and gentlemen. I keep it mostly ice, like an ice box, man. But, with Godfrey's character, I gotta make an exception, ladies and gentlemen. I just have to. But the door scene, what'd you guys think about that? Oh, they can't leave me with this shit door. I'm the bank manager. I'm a high guy. High profile guy here, et cetera, et cetera. Man, when you got freaking my boy. Drinking the water real quick. Pikes, excuse me. I was so excited for this because there was some really funny ass shit happening on this episode. But when you got Pikes, essentially, after the, Superior, he has the cigarette, and, he's blowing a hole. Hey, you burned my door, man. Oh, shit, my bad. It was standing a little too close to that paper door, man. And, Pikes drinks that water, he blows a hole. I think he made that shit bigger, man, but he eventually made it worse, coming in there almost like, here's Johnny here. And you got freaking Jonesy that ended up coming in there like the Incredible Hulk and shit. So just simple shit, but so damn funny in the moment there. Oh my God, man, was that funny as hell. And then the facial expressions, and sometimes the lack of a comment by Captain Mannering, you just feel in many moments, he's like, you stupid boy. Just the way he's looking at him, with just disgust and anger. And then, and of course, it comes at the expense of Pikes doing very, very silly things, which is so good, so enjoyable. I cannot stress enough, Pikes' character is phenomenal. Even when they were walking, and they're going to decide to say the good news and they're leaving, and you see him going around in the back, he's protecting their six. So you're already thinking any sort of military, if you played Call of Duty or any of these things, and he kind of has the motion. So I'm thinking, I love when he does that, man. I hope he does that more times, because it is just funny as hell. And, he does, I say that, his knowledge of movies is always cool. I love it because at the end of this excursion, whether I do it on my free time or not, I'm gonna have to pop in, get the list I've mentioned, but of some of the movies, and I may just watch it on my free time, if I can, for funsies, just to see kind of the movies that were mentioned a lot on the show, because there's a shit ton of shows that I ain't never seen. You know what I mean? So I mean movies. So be kind of cool for free time, even if it's nothing I do on the channel, but just for fun. But absolutely banger episode. But again, when it comes to like the awe moments where you're like, or sympathetic, again, Godfrey's gonna have to take this beautiful home, this nice spread, this tea time, and no matter how cold you may be, or Mannering might be a little bit fierce, it is not easy to break that news, especially with Godfrey, man. God bless that character, man. Such a great character. And I wouldn't be able to do it, man. Not even the cold-hearted Frasier could do it. But real quick, I think I'm going to start stealing when people say, "Hey, what you think about that movie?" And just a joke, I'm gonna say rubbish. I'm gonna have to start doing that. Maybe when people come into my streams, just start randomly asking me some shit. Rubbish, it was pure rubbish. I just love Frasier's character, man. He's so cool. And again, man, did you guys enjoy when you had freaking Frasier and my boy Jonesy kind of like bickering back and forth when they were talking about the shops and the queue? You don't want the queue there, and then his building there, and then, Frasier said something to him, and then while he's talking to Mannering and shit, it just comes back, wait a minute, what do you mean? I just love that. It'll process a little later. Again, we all process things very differently and stuff. And even with school, I wasn't more of a visual learner. Sometimes I would zone out when the teacher's just talking and shit. That's probably why I didn't do that great in school. I believe we all learn differently. I learn a lot slower. And when I played, for example, this might sound stupid or whatever, video games, and I play like a shooter game or something like that, I'd have my friends who would pick up the game very quickly, like instantly. So they'll be better than me, but over time, I just keep, I keep visual, I visual learner. So it takes me a little bit go, but once I get going, I start going above and beyond, and I start really dominating. So, again, we all learn differently. These characters are just so great, man. I could go on and on and on about how cool they are, but I did really enjoy the bickering moments there. So that all those door scenes with people coming in, breaking the door, making it worse, was fantastic. And then again, juggling. All right, we're gonna take it to you. Wilson. Wilson's got something to say. Hey, Pike killing me too. Like, before tea, gonna do it after tea. Wilson was like, we should really do this quick, essentially. It's Mr. Mannering, it's during tea time. Come on, man. Yeah, you just stirring the pot, man. Stir that pot a little bit more. Come on, break that shit already, man. Hold on a second. Let's go get some more snacks after tea. They just couldn't do it. They didn't have the heart to do it, man. And we did all this fuss, all this shit, trying to figure out how the hell we're gonna break the ice. And eventually, Jonesy has this sit down when Frasier was there, but he was like, yeah, all right, guess what? Yeah, Jonesy's got something to say. I got to go back on my rounds. I'll see you guys later, man. I'll have some tea a little later, man. And, man, we went through this whole crazy ordeal for him to say he already knows he got the letter. And the guy did mention that he's going to get some sort of paperwork that was going to be coming in there, but he did want the guys to say this stuff. But I just don't think that I personally in that moment would have had the heart to tell him that. I respect, Jonesy finally, doing his best to do it. But I don't know, would it have been something easy for you to do if you were in those guys' shoes? Let me know in the comments down below. Again, to be on the receiving end of something like that, where you're essentially gonna, have to find places to stay, Sissy and Dolly and Godfrey. I don't know. Do you guys think that Godfrey and Jonesy would have meshed well? I don't know. I think it'd be like apples and oranges, a little bit different. And again, we all got different tastes and stuff. Even the radio station, these guys ain't. I don't know. I see them fighting, man. I don't know why. I mean, Jonesy getting upset. That's what I see. But man, Frasier was great on this episode. The phone call, kind of like a blackmail, knowing the details. Man, Frasier is not one to mess with. Don't mess with that boy, man. And I gotta give my boy Frasier some props as well. Just so good of his character. He makes me laugh a lot of times, which is good. This is what I want to do. You want to sit down, watch a show, have a good time. So this is what this show does for me. It brings me a lot of joy watching on Friday. I'm recording this on Friday, so it is awesome to just kick back, sit down, see another episode. Real quick, let's talk on the warden real quick. Guess he hasn't learned in some business. You gotta when you're gonna be taking some money off people, you're gonna be doing a side job and helping out, which I already thought was kick-ass and cool of him to help out, especially even that Napoleon is asking him. You gotta get half. Get half now, half later, man. You got scammed, man. Poor guy. You ain't getting no money. And it almost reminds you like the cartoon characters. They're just getting red and there's smoke going out. Boom. That's it right there. So in the small moments that he's there, pure joy. But man, was it a nice episode? And obviously you're glad with what transpired, and the sit down at the end was picture perfect there. I really enjoyed it. I was just chill. I was like in Zen mode or something like that. It was just so calm until you hear the aeroplane, and then, everybody's going all crazy and shit, especially Jones. Like, oh, yeah, man. I freaking love this show. Thank you guys for hanging out. Enough of my yapping. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Free to do. Helps out the channel tremendously. Shout out to the patrons who do those things. Subscribers, everybody. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. We'll see you soon. Peace out. Take care. Be well. Have a great weekend.